Welcome to the last short part of this chapter on signal transduction. And the last thing we're going to talk about here is the phenomena of signal integration. And this tries to capture for you the complexity of cellular signaling. So we'll put up a complicated diagram here. And the diagram is not intended for you to learn it or memorize it, but just to enforce some important principles regarding integration of signals from different receptors. So cells can be exposed to a whole range of signals at any given moment. So there is an abundance of signaling molecules in extracellular fluid and circulating the bloodstream. So cells are receiving numerous messages, basically, from their neighbors and from distant tissues. And so cells have to integrate these signals to produce an appropriate response. So the appropriate response is based on the cell's proteome. The cell doesn't have the proteins to have a particular response, then it doesn't matter whether the receptor or the ligand is present or not. So as you can see, and as we've talked about, a single receptor like this GPCR here can activate numerous pathways converging on the same molecules. For example, the GPCR here can move through this pKa-dependent pathway to phosphorylate a whole bunch of proteins. It could work through beta-gamma G protein subunits to activate the MAP kinase cascade, and in turn result in the phosphorylation of target proteins. Activation of this RTK could lead to activation of PKC, the MAP kinase pathway. And so you see there is a lot of what we call crosstalk. There are lots of different pathways converging on the same points and lots of pathways splitting off and going to different places as well. And so sometimes the activated components of one pathway interfere with the components of another pathway. So this beta-gamma here is impinging on these MAP kinases, but so is this receptor tyrosine kinase influencing these MAP kinases. So the activation of this receptor and this receptor can lead to simultaneous activation and modulation of the MAP kinase pathway. So try not to think about cell signaling as a linear set of steps. There are certainly aspects of it which are like that, but it's more like an integrated web network of biochemical pathways. And this is one of the things that I feel that endocrinologists probably struggle with. If any of you have dealt with an endocrinologist, it can take a long time to get hormonal balances correct. So that you don't have a lot of adverse side effects. And that's partly because of this phenomenon where you have a multitude of pathways interacting with one another and interfering with one another. That phenomena of integration of signaling pathways is called crosstalk. We say the same thing when we've got multiple pathways affecting multiple second messengers. So we've got an ion channel here, a ligand-gated ion channel opening and modulating calcium. We've got this G protein coupled receptor here working through IP3 to modulate calcium levels. And so we've got different pathways eliciting a response in different in second messengers. And so the cell has to really work out through biochemical interactions what is the appropriate cellular response. But a lot of it comes down to these target proteins here. If these target proteins aren't expressed from the genome, then it doesn't matter what's going on with these receptors and these pathways, because you can't phosphorylate a protein that's absent. So you see the opportunities for crosstalk are numerous. And I hope that kind of communicates quite clearly the complexity of cell signaling. So we will wrap it up there, and we'll be back next time to look at some processes in cell division. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.